Okay, so today is 75 hard, day 50. It's 19th July 2023. I am on my roof. I'm on my roof doing my 45-minute walk. Now is 11 past 3. I started. I'll finish by 11 past 48. So what I'm doing is that I have already read today's part of this book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. I have read, and now I'll just skim through the pages that I have read, and I'll say if there's anything important lesson or something worth highlighting, then I'll say it in the video. So let's see. So today I started from page 37. What I saw is that a few things are that there is no advantage of taking shortcuts, because in the long term that they will be useless. We If we want to make some significant progress, then we have to take all the steps. We have to go through the process step by step. Let's say we want to uh, be a professional cricketer. From day one we can't start like practicing like a professional cricketer. First we have to become an amateur. Before that we have to get familiar with cricket. If you don't know anything about it, or any other sport or any other skill, the concept is same. So that's what the book is telling us, is that we have to take a step. And it might be obvious uh, for these, what would I say, physical, these worldly skills, but for our emotional skills they might not be very obvious. So the thing is, we have to take it step by step. Let's say I am a very unhealthy person. My sleep schedule is not set. Its sleep schedule is horrible. My diet is horrible. I don't exercise. I don't work. I'm not punctual. I'm not sincere. I don't keep the promises that I make to myself. So I have a lot of problems. I have to accept that. And then if I start to say that, okay, I'll become a different person, and from the next day I try to have a perfect sleep schedule, a perfect diet, working out perfectly for like 1 or 2 hours, and doing everything as my ideal self would do, then I would horribly fail. What I have to do is I have to take baby steps, and I have to improve in very small intervals. I have to make small but gradual changes that would solidify my base. So that's what it's about. So yeah, let me read the other pages. The next thing that the author says is that the way we see the problem is the problem. What is the problem? The problem is that how we see the problem. That's what the author is saying. He's saying that often we see the fault in others, the fault in the world, the fault in the system, the fault in our boss, the fault in our teachers, but we fail to see that how we are contributing to it, how we are empowering it. Let's say no one trusts us. They, we may assume that none of my friends are like that kind to trust me, but it's very possible that I am not trustworthy. We might overlook that, and let's say that if, excuse me, I'm feeling like someone's watching me. Yeah. Anyway, so what I was saying is that, yeah, so if we look into ourselves, we might find that we are not trustworthy. Another problem might be that, let's say, I'm feeling that my spouse, I don't really have a spouse, but let's say I'm an adult and I have a spouse, and my spouse isn't very loving nature, isn't very of loving nature, isn't of my type, isn't what I deserve, doesn't treat me the way I deserve. that might be right, but there is a very big possibility that we are like behaving in a way that makes him or her in case of mine to act in that way. There might be a possibility that she, let's say, had a bad day and reacted badly, to which I thought that she treats me horribly, and then I treat her badly. I projected her onto her, and then she might think the same, and that might produce a cycle, which, as you might know, you might realize that that is the path to disaster. So that's what the author is saying. Many of the problems that author had told in the first few pages of the book, those I said that few of them I find relatable. The author mentions those. Okay, so one of them that I told I find relatable is that, let's say I'm the boss of a place, I'm the boss of my office, and I don't think that the employees are loyal to me. I think that they're disloyal, and I don't know how do I make them loyal. I don't know, whatever I do, how much um, effort I put, I don't seem to make them feel loyal. So what we need to do, we might look into ourselves and think that maybe they are thinking that what we are doing isn't at the best interest for them. Maybe that's making them disloyal. So many things like these author is saying in these few pages. Let me read them, skim them, and then I'll again come back to the video. Okay, so adding to the previous part, I read that author isn't saying that is must what the problem is, but he's saying that maybe, in his words, maybe the way I look at people who work for me is part of the problem. That might be a part of the problem, which is a possibility that we might ignore. And then, let's say you're solving an equation and you miss out few of the terms, then how the hell are you supposed to solve the equation? You are, the analogy is bad, but okay, I'm continuing with analogy. Analogy is that you are wanting to find the value of something, but you have omitted the value many steps ago. Then how are you going to find it, right? So that's what the author is saying. And then the author proceeds to say that in page 42, a new level of thinking. Albert Einstein said that at a level of thinking you have created a problem. Unless you rise from that level of thinking, you are not going to find a solution. You created a problem in your mind. It's not that you created it, but let's say you faced a problem that occurred to you when you were at a certain level of thinking. You're not going to find the solution unless you level up your level of thinking. So that's what author quoted from Albert Einstein. And then what he told, okay, let me see. Yeah, so the author told that we have to achieve a deeper level of thinking for us to resolve the problems. And then he mentions the inside out approach, the personality character approach, the personality ethic character ethic approach. What it tells is that okay, give me a second, I am a human too. Okay, so the author uses personality and character to define two different things, but I don't really seem to remember the difference because both are synonymous to me. So what he's saying basically is that you have to think inside out. You have to first solve the problem at a deeper level, and then you have to surface out. For example, let's say the private victories precede public victories. In his words, making and keeping promises to ourselves precedes making and keeping promises to others. It's a process, it's a continuing process. So let's say let me give you an example. Yeah, so example is that If you want to be trusted, be trustworthy. If you want to have a happy marriage life, happy marriage, be the kind of person who generates positive energy and sidesteps negative energy rather than empowering it. If you want to have a more pleasant, cooperative teenager, be a more understanding, empathetic, considerate, loving parent. I don't think it's telling you to always blame yourself, but it's telling you to not never blame yourself. That's what he's telling you. So yeah, that's that. And then I guess, yeah, so most of the same thing over and over. And then the author starts to tell us about the 7 habits. And most of okay, so one thing is that habit, the author calls the habit as intersection of knowledge, skill, and desire. The knowledge of what to do. Okay, so what is my habit, what am I going to do, and the what to do, and the why to do. That's the knowledge. How to do is the skill, and do I want to do it is a desire. So the author is telling that we need to have all the three of them: the knowledge, the desire, the knowledge, the what is that? The knowledge, the skill, and the desire to make it a habit. Otherwise, we won't be able to. So that's what author is telling about habit. It's more or less like the stuff in the Atomic Habits chapter. And here's one quote from Aristotle that author had mentioned in the start of the chapter in page 46. What we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act but a habit. That's a good quote, obviously. Like, who am I to comment? But yeah, to me, let's say that it's a good quote. Excellence is not an act but a habit. It's not something you do but you repeatedly do. You keep doing. That's what it says. So yeah, that's today's reading. I know it might be a shortcut, but I'm trying, bro. I'm trying really hard. Or maybe not hard. Maybe I'm slacking. But yeah, I'm pushing myself. Okay, I don't want to make excuses. Yeah, I know I'm not performing it ideally, but yeah, I'm doing it. I'm this reading, and then I'll finish my 15 minutes of study left. I'll finish that, and maybe I'll write a few notes while I'm walking, and then I'll go back and I'll sleep. So yeah, today was day 50. Tomorrow will be day 51. 25 more days. Let's go.